I guess I could. Fuck it. We're just gonna keep doing this way, even if it takes a minute. Okay, so stream's up.
Streams up, memes up.
Should be a thing. Should be on a shirt, Brian.
Shouldn't it?
Right? Sam, are you on the YouTube channel?
Let me refresh it.
And now it's time to talk about Solo.
Doesn't say it's...
Time to talk about Solo.
I'm just gonna listen to it myself. Maybe it comes through double.
Doesn't say it's... Yeah, it's not.
Time to talk about Solo.
I'm just gonna listen to it myself. Maybe it comes through double. Yeah, it comes through double on mine. That's fine. You guys see it?
No.
I hadn't looked for it.
It's not. It's not coming up.
Maybe it just doesn't like you, Sam.
It's probably...
What's up?
Words.
Unless I don't have it set to public. It could be that. No, it's public. Never mind. You know, last time on the stream we had, on the Avengers one, there was actually someone did chat me during the
Really?
thing. Yeah. It's
You
really
didn't
interesting.
see it.
It was really weird.
Yeah, it says it's live. Man, maybe we should keep it up in case people actually try and chat with us while we're doing it.
Right. Well, I didn't know. It was super late. I messaged the guy back. I was like, hey, sorry we missed. Thanks for listening, kind of shit. Oh, well. His loss.
I mean, our loss, not his loss.
Oh, whatever.
That was like in the middle of the night, too.
Right.
We need fans,
Go buy some.
not oscillating fans.
There's non-oscillating ones.
Ocelot fans?
Don't get smart with me.
You need Ocelot fans.
Okay, I'm gonna have to mute that because otherwise I'm gonna get confused while we're talking.
Mute what? Oh, mute
The
the
stream.
mute the YouTube stream. Yeah, because it plays double like all the time. Everybody ready?
Yep.
John, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Brian.
Just making sure.
All right, everybody ready?
Mm-hmm.
Don't really have notes on this, but we're doing a quicker one, and it's Deadpool. So, all right,
It's Deadpool.
3, 2. Hey, thanks for joining us again. This Best Words podcast coming at you with the R-rated superhero movie Blade 2, Deadpool 2, Logan.
The one and only.
Right? No, Deadpool 2. Kind of have a shorter one today, hopefully. Sam's got stuff to do, so we're kind of just going to jump into it. I can kind of guess right off the bat that Sam, you didn't like it too much.
So, it's not that I didn't like it. I enjoyed it. I just feel like Deadpool's better as supporting versus main cast.
Interesting. Brian?
I think it was a better X-Men movie than the X-Men movies.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
That's interesting. All right. I guess without scoring it, I enjoyed it. I don't regret seeing it.
Right.
If
I
I'm,
definitely didn't hate it, if that's what you were trying to find out.
Gotcha. If I'm being perfectly honest, and I know this is probably counter to a lot of what I've seen on the internet, I actually kind of like the first one better.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know what it was about this one. I just again, not bad, by any means. A solid film. I gotta watch it again. I don't know. I can't really put my finger on it. I feel like I guess we'll kind of take it this direction. So like the overall plot, wasn't it borrowed from an X-Men game, Brian? I feel like there was an X-Men game that came out like on the PS2 era.
Was it?
There was a kid who had like fire powers, and you take over that kid, and then you just develop your. I was gonna look into it, but I just never got around to it. So I don't know. That didn't bother me as much either.
Maybe. I'm not entirely sure.
Okay, I'll look into it later. How did you guys feel about them killing off his girlfriend right off the bat?
I was fine with it.
Yeah,
I was surprised.
I was kind of surprised. I thought they were gonna do that whole she might be dead or he's got to do something to save her life, but no, she died, which kind of sucked because like I guess I can't be too upset about it because I guess I would end up being one of those people that got upset at the end of Thor 3 when they saved everyone, and then start of Avengers, half of them die kind of stuff. So it's kind of like can't be too upset about it because I wasn't upset when they did it that time.
Well, honestly, she is alive because he went back in time and reversed everything.
Yes. Thanks for ruining the ending, Sam. Podcast done.
What?
We're done. Canceling. No. I guess we'll kind of go through the bigger parts. What did you guys think of Josh Brolin as Cable? Brian, I know you, out of all three of us, you're the biggest Cable fan. He's one of your favorite.
I was super happy with it. I thought it was really well done.
Yeah?
Really?
Like, it's different from the comics, but it works on film, which is all I really care about.
Mhm.
That, and I also really like Josh Brolin as an actor. So seeing him portray that role and Thanos has been pretty awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I had no nothing to lose, nothing to gain if it was good or bad. I knew he wasn't super comic book esque, just kind of based off of what they were showing in the trailers and the little bit I know about Cable. I enjoyed his character. Brolin had done an interview where he said he definitely enjoyed playing Thanos more than Cable. Not that it was.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Yeah, he had. I guess there was more nuance to it versus like just trying to kill a kid the entire time.
Yeah, I can see that.
What did you guys think of Deadpool's supporting cast, all the cameos?
Like the Vanisher.
Well, like I liked. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about them killing off all of the X-Force.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, it just felt. I'm not out of. I don't know. Like, if one or two of them had died, I would have been more okay with it. But the fact that everyone died and then. I don't know. Except for Domino.
So I actually really liked that scene because of the fact that they introduced Shatterstar. Because when I was a kid and I was reading X-Force, I thought Shatterstar was like the coolest character in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Because he had long hair and swords.
Yeah, super anime.
Very 90s.
Yeah, he was super 90s. So I really liked them bringing him in and referencing Mojo World and then immediately killing him off.
It was cool seeing it was Brad Pitt, right? That was
yes.
Yeah.
It was Brad Pitt.
He was Vanisher. They also said Matt Damon was one of those like country guys.
He was. Him and Alan Tudyk.
I don't know who the second person is. I won't lie.
Alan Tudyk? You don't know who Alan Tudyk is?
Not off the top of my head, no.
I guess
Firefly?
you didn't watch Firefly.
No, I still haven't seen Firefly.
Oh, okay. Did you watch Dale and Tucker?
No, did not watch
Tucker
that.
and Dale vs. Evil. He was the voice for the robot in Rogue One.
Oh, really? Okay, that's finally something I've seen. Right. I was actually really impressed with Domino. I actually found myself wanting to see more of her. The actress who played her really well, I think, and she was a good I guess, counter to Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool. I don't know a better way to put it other than that. But I think she was definitely a scene stealer in a lot of aspects.
Yeah, she was. She really was.
But
I actually really.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I actually really liked the kid in this one.
Really? He came off as a little bit. I guess maybe if I look at it like he came off as like a parody of. I don't know. Is that how I should be looking at it? Because he's definitely like annoying as a kid to me. But if he's like a parody of something, then I guess at that point I can kind of overlook it. But like the whole prison stuff where he was like find the biggest guy and make him your bitch, and like the pen that he kept smuggling around. I don't know.
Pen?
Yeah, his butt pen. I don't know. It didn't really. It wasn't really like my thing. I guess I don't know.
I think that the big issue with the film, not that it isn't a fine film, but it really just treads a lot of the same path of what they already did in the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
Kinda.
Like it. I don't
like
know.
Not so much in the plot, but just in the delivery and the jokes.
Fair enough. Well, like, I guess to that point, right? They did the whole baby hand stuff in the first one, and then the joke in the second one was like, oh, his whole bottom half is a baby. Right. Not that it wasn't funny, but it's just like, all right, we've done the regeneration joke. We're doing it again, kind of stuff. I don't know. It was just
yeah.
I guess that makes sense.
I liked all the poking fun of Logan that it did.
Oh yes, that was throughout a lot of the
that
film.
really amused me.
The
like the little figure at the beginning, that I thought that was hilarious.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, he stabbed the Wolverine figure in the heart. I was laughing pretty hard at that. See, stuff like that, when it's like, I feel like when it's directly referencing I guess that's kind of, now I think about it, that's kind of why Deadpool doesn't work without established comic books.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, kind of like, I think I talked to you about this just like separately. That movie, This Is the End, where all the, it's got the, Seth Rogen, Dave Franco, or James Franco, and all them. I don't think that movie works if they don't use real celebrities, or it doesn't work as well, right? In my opinion.
Right.
And I feel maybe that's kind of what Deadpool is too. Like, the jokes that worked really well were the ones that were like referencing, the Marvel universe, the DC universe, that kind of shit. Those jokes landed really well, or anything like that exists as far as pop culture. But like outside of that, it's kind of I guess.
I think that's really one of the issues that I've had with Deadpool as a character, like always, is the fact that he doesn't really exist well without pop culture. Like, pop culture has to be in the forefront of all of his plots for him to be interesting.
Gotcha. And that's, like, that's not to say it's not fine. It's just, but I definitely think it can wear itself out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But I guess that's why it's internet. A lot of people on the internet kind of gravitate towards it because it's, I don't know, current.
I guess
it has its place, but Deadpool has I don't know, he's just not very interesting on his own, in my opinion, because he has to know all of this stuff, and I don't know.
Well, it's why they keep throwing Colossus in the movie, and it's why they keep throwing Negasonic and all these other people, because maybe he's, and again, this isn't saying the movie's bad, it's just analyzing the character in a different light. I'm trying to think. So they went to the I did enjoy seeing him be try to do the X-Men trainee thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, dude, let's start. We'll kind of quickly go through the movie because there are a lot of scenes that I'm gonna forget. Him going to the X-Mansion was hilarious when he was riding around in Xavier's wheelchair, and they even had. I'm surprised they had the cameo where it was green screen, but they had the cameo with all the first class X-Men, and Beast closes the door.
Right.
Yeah,
like,
that was
just to see that in there was kind of funny because they referenced it a lot. But but the fact that he even put it in the movie was fun. I enjoyed that. And then when he became the trainee X-Men, trying to help the kid out, they ended up arresting him. Like I said, I don't remember much, like a lot of things in particular about the scene. I just know it was funny. You know, I laughed. But the prison scene was pretty cool. Did you guys know it was going to be the Juggernaut, or did you kind of have a suspicion?
I kind of figured it was going to be.
Well, he even said foreshadowing. So, I mean, I was like, maybe it'll be the Juggernaut. I'm glad they didn't bring back the dude from X3. I'm glad it was...
Yeah. It was a way better portrayal of Juggernaut.
Yeah, because he was CG, so he looked a lot bigger.
Yeah.
Who did his voice? Because in the credits, Juggernaut, in the credits it said Juggernaut played by himself.
From what I saw on the internet, it was Ryan Reynolds.
It was Juggernaut, obviously.
Because it sounded, it reminded me of the one from the cartoons, the voice.
Could have been.
Yeah, that's because the Juggernaut did his voice in the cartoons.
It's okay. Cool.
I like the prison.
He does all his own voice work.
I like the prison fight scene with Cable. That was really fun.
I really like Cable. I think the big thing is that you can't really introduce Cable like he was in the 90s because 90s comics don't work anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So reintroducing that character in a different light works a lot better. And I really like him being just this hard-ass, crotchety old man.
Yeah. The fight scene watching Deadpool fight without his powers was kind of cool. Like, just because he's used to that style of being just super reckless, and now he can't be, or he's in pain as he's fighting. And then I like the dubstep joke was pretty funny. I enjoyed that. And then fucking Skrillex Bangarang starts playing as they do it. I don't know. It is a moment that kind of stuck out to me, but overall, And then after that, that's when he recruits the team. I mean, the recruiting team video is funny, seeing everyone show up. Did you guys know all of those? I know, Brian, you said you knew Shatterstar.
I knew Shatterstar. Most of them, like, obviously Domino is a really big character.
Mm-hmm.
But all the other ones are pretty small. Like, they do actually exist in the X-Force universe, but they are very small characters.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'd never heard of any of them outside of Domino.
Like Zeitgeist, I think his name was, the guy that had the acid spit or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, he gets introduced in one comic and then immediately dies. So.
Oh, okay.
John, did he look familiar?
He did.
Zeitgeist?
That was Skarsgård.
Yeah, the guy who played it.
It was? Pennywise. Oh, okay. I was like, he did. Did they make a joke about that? I feel like they made a joke about that.
I don't remember it.
So.
Something about a clown or it or something. I think they made a reference about it. Seeing Terry Crews in it's fun. I enjoy seeing Terry Crews in most things.
Right.
Okay, so then after that, they do the parachuting thing. Everyone dies.
So I wanted to see this movie because I was like, oh my god, I don't like Deadpool, but like seeing like him with a group of people sounds really cool.
Uh-huh.
And then they just get rid of everybody. So I was a little sad, but at the same time it was very funny to me, I will say.
Gotcha. Like I said, I enjoyed the first couple, but by the end of everyone dying, I was like, okay, can we move past this scene? It's kind of dragging on.
I thought Peter was going to be okay.
And then he got thrown up on. Yeah.
He was okay. He fixed the timeline, remember?
It's true.
Oh, so I really liked the reference to X-Men Origins when he was doing the blade thing.
Yeah.
That made me laugh because it poked fun at how like unrealistic, because they never really said he had powers in Origins. He was just a swordsman. So like the fact that he could do that shit was ridiculous. But I'm glad they made that reference. And then when when they were fighting, and what was his name? Was his name Black Alex? Was his name?
Black Tom.
Black Tom, and he was laughing at him, and then he just makes him get shot. He's like, "You killed Black Tom, you racist." He was like my best friend. And then they kept that running joke throughout the entire thing.
I can relate to Cable because everybody labels him as a racist, and he's not.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's
can
in
relate
that's
to
in
that.
the intro to the Black Panther podcast. Now that you mention it, I put that in. So when you go listen to that, Brian, that holds some truth to it.
I'm telling you.
But yeah, so then when Juggernaut broke out and ripped Ryan Reynolds in half, that was again, it was a cool scene because we never got to see Juggernaut do stuff like that in X3. He just ran at people. Didn't really make sense outside of that. And I'm glad that it's later in the movie, but they reference his whole helmet thing, keeping Charles out of his head, like that being the whole purpose of it. And
yeah,
like the fact that they went deeper into the lore with little bits and pieces. I like that because they didn't shy away from it. They embraced it. But yeah, so then they go to the house, and that's when Cable tracks them down to team up with them, correct?
Right.
Okay, yeah. What's his name? What's his taxi cab driver's name?
I do not remember.
What's it? Dopinder.
Dopinder, yeah. What do you guys think of him in this movie this time around? I really liked him in the first one. The second one, again, if I'm looking at it from a parody standpoint, I feel like he's okay. But like him and the kid and I feel like they just play to these like overdone, like I don't know. I can't really describe it. Tropes, I guess, is the right word. And not that they're bad. It's just he becomes the crazed. I want to kill for Deadpool. I want to be a mercenary like Deadpool. And and then again, the kid just being, instead of being aware of his surroundings and being like, oh shit, I'm in prison. I need to be careful. He's like, I'm just gonna stab people with my ass pen, right? I don't know, but I mean, he is enjoyable throughout most of the film, especially at the end.
Like, it's a fun film, and I definitely don't recommend, or don't, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't regret seeing it.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'd watch it multiple times in rapid succession.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
Gotcha. Okay, so they team up with Cable. He kind of tells them the backstory of the kid, and Deadpool commits to trying to save him to change the future. Because I guess that's the other thing we have to mention. The whole background is that Deadpool wants to do right by. His name's Tess, right?
The chick? Yeah, sure. Go with that. Living dead girl.
Right.
I don't know. It's.
Did y'all guys care about that kind of like backstory? Like, again, stuff like that. I just.
I feel like they tried to give too much emotion in this film.
Vanessa. There we go. Sorry, I had to look that up. Yeah.
Just like Deadpool's supposed to exist as a comedy character, and he doesn't really need that emotional background.
Well, like the whole motivation for the first movie was, yeah, he ended up saving Vanessa, but the whole like beginning part of it was like, hey, you fucked up my face. I want my face fixed, kind of thing, right?
Right.
And then he was like, oh shit, you kidnapped Vanessa. Well, I'll save her, because it's you know, it's in the it's kind of on the way kind of thing.
Yeah.
The whole trying to redeem himself and do right by the kid. I don't know. Again, not terrible. Just didn't hit it. I don't know. It didn't do what I don't think.
I don't know. Honestly, I feel like the whole character would just work better if he had a universe to tie him into.
Yeah, like
so that he was just working in the background of all of these other films going on.
For sure.
And that's my point to him. He just doesn't work as a movie all by himself, in my opinion.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah, like Deadpool's a strong character, but he's not a strong character to support a franchise.
Gotcha. I think it. And again, small funny parts when he teams up with Cable and he goes to recruit Colossus and he's playing the music, kind of like the old.
Papa, can you hear me? That one?
Is that when he sings it? No, I'm just saying when he does the stereo outside, this really small stereo outside the X Mansion.
I cannot remember the name of that.
Yeah.
The Say Anything thing.
Yeah. I'm upset that I didn't get. I was looking forward to seeing more Negasonic Teenage Warhead, and we got like less than 5 minutes of her in the film.
Right.
And I really liked her and her interactions with Deadpool, and then she's dating, what is her name? Yukio.
Yukio, yeah.
I wanted to see more of her, and we only got to see her for 2 minutes, maybe. She had a cool looking power as well. But yeah, then he recruits them, and then they go to. Where do they go? To the school, right? To stop the kid?
Right.
Okay. I think.
The school itself is kind of a neat Easter egg if you know what you're looking for. The Essex School or whatever.
Really?
Is it really?
Because it's the institute that Mr. Sinister started.
Really?
Really?
Mm-hmm. That was like the whole thing with him was that that's the whole thing with that school. It's like an anti-school for gifted youngsters.
You mean the Mr. Sinister that they teased in one of the X-Men films and then
Apocalypse.
never did anything with after the fact?
Yeah,
that
okay.
One. Okay, that makes sense.
Same character.
Okay. No, yeah, I didn't know that.
Yep.
The fight with Juggernaut was kind of interesting, but it didn't really get good until Colossus showed up.
Oh my god, that was probably one of the best parts.
But it was really fun to watch characters of that size throw down.
Yeah.
As far as scenes go, too, I also really liked the whole action sequence with Domino when they all parachuted in. That was really well done.
Oh, like her running to the truck and getting on it and then fighting all the people inside. Yeah.
And him like releasing mutants in their cages into traffic.
Like them showing her mutant power of luck amused me.
Yeah, the fact that they brought that to the screen really well, because it's one of those like abstract powers that you worry like, can I put this on TV? Does it translate to TV very well?
And they even joked about it too.
Yeah,
it's
not being cinematic. Yeah. So the fact, and I guess that's the other big thing that was kind of missing. Deadpool himself didn't really have the action scenes, which kind of, because in the first one, right, he did the whole when he was creating his suit and he was chasing down the bad guys. That was fun.
Right.
Him fighting Ajax in the facility when he's created was at least entertaining. Him fighting Ajax at the end was fun. The bridge scene was fun. Am I missing a fight scene?
There weren't a whole lot of them in the first movie.
Yeah, but no, I'm saying like they revolved around Deadpool, at least.
Right.
And then at the very end, Colossus and Negasonic fought their own people. But in this one, it was Domino who did most of the fighting in that first part. Him and Cable kind of scrap, but then Juggernaut rips him in half. They do a lot of quick fight scenes in the beginning with the montage kind of thing.
Yeah, like that montage at the beginning was probably the best fight scene that Deadpool got.
Yeah, but it was just a collection of So I didn't really, I did laugh when they were gonna fight all the staff, and he asked Cable, "Can I get one of those guns?" And he's like, "No." And he's like, just use this brick then. And then watching him fight with the brick, that was entertaining. Yeah, but again,
that was really amusing.
It was funny, but the stuff going on wasn't necessarily cool or I don't know.
That said, even though I've said that I don't think that Deadpool can carry a film or a franchise on his own, I think that if they were to continue and do a Cable and Deadpool movie, it would be really good because those characters work extremely well together.
Oh yeah, no, exactly. But yeah, watching the Colossus Juggernaut fight was really fun. I enjoyed watching that because they were just thrown down. I really liked the X-Force gray color of his suit after he got burned by Fire hands, pyro hands.
Yeah.
That was kind of cool. Like when I
Fire
saw
fists.
fire fists. There you go. That was really cool. And I thought when he jumped in the way of the bullet, I thought when he put the mutant inhibitor thing, I thought when he jumped in front of the bullet that he wasn't gonna die and he was gonna realize that the thing wasn't working.
Yeah,
But
that would have been pretty funny.
yeah, but they ended up actually killing him. And he took forever to die. Actually, of course. And then he goes.
Like, I really liked that scene, but I felt like they started to draw it out a little too much.
Yeah.
Because it started out really funny, and then I was just like, all right, let's keep going.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of how it was for me. That scene, and again, all the deaths. I don't mind seeing those characters die. It felt really drawn out to me.
Right.
And like I said, I laughed at it, but I was just then he goes and sees Vanessa, and then Cable decides he's going to go back in time and put the coin in his chest pocket to protect him. So I don't know.
I also liked that they didn't really have a whole lot of backstory for Cable.
Yeah, they didn't need any, I don't think.
They reference his daughter being Hope, and that's pretty much it. Like, Hope Summers is kind of a big deal.
Oh, I didn't realize it was Summers. Oh, yeah, he's Scott's son,
because
right?
he's the son of Scott.
That's right. I forget.
Do you think
the destroyed universe,
mm-hmm.
like, that would have tied really well into Apocalypse if Apocalypse wasn't just a giant clusterfuck.
Dumpster fire.
Yeah, it's really disappointing about that.
Because, like, Hope Summers was, in the comics, she's the one that defeats Cyclops whenever he gets the Phoenix Force.
Interesting.
So she's one of the more powerful mutants in the universe.
Okay.
I think I remember you telling me about that too.
Who's her mom in that universe?
I'm not sure. Like, I've honestly never really thought a whole lot about that.
Oh, did they not say in the comic?
Well, I'm sure they said at some point, just whenever I think of Cable, I think of Cable in a vacuum.
He is just Cable.
So I don't really think a whole lot about the characters that are attached to him in his actual timeline.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. We'll try to wrap this up. So then, the best scenes in the movie, I think, are the credit scenes.
Yes.
Like,
yeah,
that hands down the best post-credit scenes. Like, even outside of a purely like comedic kind of like role, like I just enjoyed every single one of those. Like, what was the first one? The first one was to save Vanessa, right?
Yes.
And when they were fixing it, when Yukio was fixing it, I was like, oh shit, he's gonna go back in time and do something. I didn't think they'd take it to the lengths they did, where he even went to was the next one Origins right away?
Yes.
Yeah, when he goes to Origins and they show him in his old costume in that Deadpool version, and he just shoots him, and he's
That
like,
was...
and I don't remember exactly what he says, but he shoots him once. He's like, "Hey, like, big fan of yours," kind of shit, and then he like keeps shooting him a couple times, and then walks away. I was, man, like everyone in the theater fucking erupted at that point and just like laughter. And then they didn't go immediately to the Green Lantern one after that. I don't believe.
I thought they did.
Did they?
That's how I remember it, but I could be wrong. Because I can't think of anything past that.
Let me see. Hold on. I'm gonna. Yeah, so he goes. Yeah, so he kills them, and then oh yeah, no, he does go into that one where he has the Green Lantern script and he shoots him in the back of the head.
That one I felt was like You didn't need to do that. DC can have their terrible movie. That's fine.
DC has enough terrible films, Sam. Do they really need Green Lantern?
Yeah.
I don't even think Green Lantern's the worst one anymore.
No, not by no. I'd
Yeah.
rather watch that one than fucking.
Suicide Squad.
Yeah, pretty much.
Worst. Oh my God.
What was I gonna say? I forgot. Also, it was funny when Dopinder came in and killed the when Deadpool was lying, and he was like, no, we're turning over a new leaf. I'm not gonna kill people anymore. And then he fucking Dopinder kills him, and he's like, dude, I was hiding my laughter. I saw you way over on the side, and I was just waiting for you to do it. That was funny.
I'm glad that they acknowledge that because, like, as an audience member, you kind of like, oh God, and then you just think, why didn't anybody see that coming? Like,
Yeah.
and it makes sense in the regular, like anybody would see that or hear that, but
For sure.
it's a nice little touch to add to make it funny.
See, okay, so one thing I will say I liked as far as the world building, or at least just kind of like hinting, like to kind of piggyback off what Brian said earlier about them, like they introduced Cable and didn't have to do much as far as like explaining him. Like we kind of just like, oh yeah, Cable, whatever. Like the interactions with the kid and the headmaster, I liked those. Like if you want to talk about where I think they actually made headway in terms of like, okay, this kid suffered kind of thing. Like that's the
Right.
seriousness of the movie, is that they, like you said, they were torturing the kids. So when they were interacting and he was like, say what you always say to me, and he calls them abomination, and he like recites the verses or whatever, like that stuff worked for me. It was all the other shit. It was the Wade Wilson kind of shit that I was kind of like, eh. But that stuff kind of worked for me, you know, if
Yeah.
nothing else.
I think that's mainly the issue is they tie too much of Deadpool into Wade, and I don't really think of Wade whenever I think of Deadpool.
Mm-hmm.
So getting a whole bunch of bluff story about him just doesn't interest me.
Yeah. No, I understand. I'm trying to think if anything else happened in there that I really remember. Not much. And like I said, and I think that's what it boils down to. I remember a lot more about the first movie. Like there are scenes that I'm like, oh yeah, when they did this stuff, I laughed at that part, and like I said, the Zamboni thing sticks in my head. Right? Like I'll rewatch clips of Deadpool 1 all day because there are parts of it that I really really enjoyed. Deadpool 2, again, not.
It's interesting because when you sit down and watch the film, it's fun and enjoyable, and it doesn't feel like a 2-hour film,
Mhm.
but it's a pretty long film.
Gotcha.
I didn't even realize it was 2 hours.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't realize it was that much.
Which is impressive on their part that you don't realize that it's a 2-hour film. It runs by pretty quick.
Unlike,
Yeah.
I will forever hold fucking Batman v Superman to that because God, did that feel like a 2.5 hour movie?
It's just like, get on with it.
Yeah. Even Watchmen, like Watchmen was long as shit, but I enjoyed it the entire
Yeah.
way through.
Yeah, because those characters are still more interesting than two grown children.
Well, Zack Snyder's version of those two heroes.
Nope, I know what I said.
Whatever. I don't know if anybody else has anything to add from the film. Any parts they particularly liked or didn't like, or
Like, whether or not there was any backlash for Cable in the movie, I don't know that there was. I haven't looked into it a whole lot. But
I haven't seen any.
for me personally, it was everything that I would have hoped him to be when he was translated to the screen.
Gotcha.
I'm
'Cause-
actually surprised. I thought you would have not necessarily hated it, but would have been like, he was there.
I mean, that's kind of what Deadpool, or not Deadpool, Cable does. Like, he's just kind of there. He does things, and he's cool when he does them.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
And they didn't even hit on like the whole like because he has a disease, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, because he has psychic powers
Okay.
from his mother, and doesn't he use the powers to hold the disease back? So he's actually a lot stronger. He just can't use his full power set or some shit like that.
it's something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I really like that character. I like his design. I really like Josh Brolin's portrayal of him.
Yeah.
Just seeing him run around being a badass was fun.
Oh,
I think
oh, that scene when he has his friend, he captures his friend, and then he is like playing the like. See, and again, this is one of those scenes that works for me because they were like kind of parodying the whole like the whole Dark Knight interrogation thing where he's like, "I'm gonna make you talk," and Joker is like the entire time just like, poking fun at him.
Yeah.
But Brolin's like, first I'm gonna bend something that shouldn't bend, and then he's like, you know what? I'm not even gonna make it to step 2. I'm not even gonna make it to step 1. I'll tell you whatever you want to know. Like that again, stuff like that works because we've already, and I guess that again plays off what we were saying. It's been established that again in another superhero movie that there's interrogation scenes, and they took it and they were like, nope, I'm a regular human. I'm not gonna deal with that nonsense. So
I also like that Deadpool called him Thanos at one point in the movie.
yeah, or I mean, they did the whole. It was in the trailer, right? But are you sure you're not from the DC universe because you're really dark kind of stuff?
Right.
it's so dark.
So
It's so dark.
I still landed in the movie. That's fine. So if nothing else, I guess so say Sam out of 5.
See, here's the problem.
Oh no! Why, Sam? I feel like if I go back and watch our listen to our podcast again, I feel like every time I ask you for a score, there's like
Because there's a
Well,
problem.
here's an issue with having that score.
right.
If I rate it as is, with me not liking Deadpool and just being like wanting his parts to be over,
Mm-hmm.
I would rate it like 2.5 out of 5. But if I actually like look at it from, I guess, a critic standpoint overall, it's
Mhm.
actually a really smart movie, and I would rate it like 4 out of 5.
That's high.
Because it works really well. There's a lot of in jokes and things that they reference, and they keep still being fresh and everything. It's
Right.
surprisingly a good movie.
Mhm.
So overall, I'm just gonna have to bring it down to like a 3 out of 5.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So,
Brian.
I think I'd agree with that, with a 3. And it's mostly for the same thing. I think the less tied to the cinematic universes you are, the better the film will be for you.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I agree that it's a smart film and it works really well and the effects are good and it's got a coherent story, which is something that most of the X-Men films haven't had.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah, I mean, if we're comparing it to X-Men films, yeah, it's one of the best X-Men films to come out ever.
yeah, I mean, I'll hold to the fact that it's definitely the second best of that entire series, with Logan being the first.
Gotcha.
yeah.
See, we need to get different people on this podcast because I was gonna rate it around a 3. Mostly because like a 3 because like again I didn't like it as much as the first one personally. Like I'd rate the first one a little bit higher, but it's like anyone who's a fan of Deadpool will watch this movie and enjoy it. So you can't rate it super low because super low would be no one will enjoy this film at all kind of shit.
Right. I think that there's something that anybody that would go out of their way to see a film like this would enjoy.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely. There's no regret watching it.
I think the only way you could go in and not enjoy this film is if you were going in and actively trying to not enjoy the film because you just hate everything that Marvel does.
Yeah, and
Well,
it's because it's funny. Like it's funny. I laughed throughout it. Again, for me, parts weren't super memorable, but like I enjoyed it. I wanted to see more of Negasonic, and I wanted to see more of just because I feel like I don't know.
I'm glad we got to see more of Colossus.
That was cool because he didn't get. He was in X2, right?
He was in was it
X2 and
X2? X2
Yeah.
and 3.
I know
and
he was in-
also in one of the Wolverine movies.
Well, I know he was in 2, and they super sidelined him because he was like, "I'll help," and then Logan was like, "Go help the kids." And
Oh
he's
yeah,
like,
you're right.
okay, right? And then he goes and
Yeah.
helps, and then he gets kind of sidelined. And I remember him being in part 3 because he throws Logan at the fake Sentinel in the training room, and then he throws Logan at Magneto on the bridge, like
Right.
fucking foreshadowing bullshit. So yeah, but he was super sidelined. Again, X1 through 3 is the Logan show. Like
Right.
Logan's had fucking 6 movies now, so.
And I think that bringing him in Deadpool also makes a lot of sense because he's a really interesting character and he's got more layers than just being one of the X-Men.
Well, and he's a good counter to Deadpool as well, right? Like
Right.
he's super like proper and do things by the book, and Deadpool's not that. But no, I think anyone who likes Deadpool or just likes the X-Men films, I think will go in and enjoy it. You know, whether you're DC or Marvel, I think you enjoy the film. Again, I think where you fall as far as you know, what you look for in superhero films might skew your score a little bit, or
Yeah, if you don't know that Deadpool is he breaks the fourth wall,
Mhm.
you're gonna be really surprised.
well, it's also the second one, so they should be.
Yeah,
I don't think anyone who because even me, I like the first one better. I don't think anyone who enjoyed the first movie is gonna enjoy this movie. Like, if you didn't like the first one, you're not gonna like this one, in my opinion, right?
Unless you like Cable and all the supporting cast, then you might like it.
I still think even then, because I would rate that lower. I would honestly put that like, I'd watch this one over BBS if we're talking about like, right?
That's not hard to do.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying in terms of like watching movie, like I don't regret seeing BBS. I just wouldn't fucking sit through it again because it's
Ugh,
fucking long.
yeah, that's
I'd
true.
watch parts of it that I'd want to watch. But I'd rate it a 3. Like I said, a 3, right in the middle. You know, nothing groundbreaking, in my opinion. But
Yeah, it didn't do anything the first one didn't already do.
yeah, and you know, it got laughs. The first one's more memorable to me, maybe because it was the first one.
Like, really, it just seems like it's the first movie if the first movie had the budget that they wanted.
Yeah,
That's a good way to put it. Because yeah, they kind of kept getting money taken away from them in the first one because they were like, oh, we don't think that Fox is fucking idiots. Like, oh, we don't think it'll make money. We're gonna give all our money to Fantastic Four or whatever fucking movie came out around that time. I know they were pulling.
Four stick.
I know they were pulling money from it. But yeah, I think you're right. I think that's a good way to describe it. It's Deadpool with the budget because they definitely had a lot of CG and effects with
Right.
Domino, and you know, Colossus was all CG. So is Juggernaut, and then all the fire effects from
Fire Fist.
Fire Fist. Yeah, because even in the first one, right, the only real like CG stuff we got was Colossus. Negasonic did her attacks like twice. Ajax didn't really have anything. A lot of the CG came from the fire when they were fighting in the burning house. But like the
Right.
characters themselves didn't have a lot of CG to them. And in this movie, you had Yukio, Negasonic for a little bit, Colossus, Juggernaut, Domino had
liked-
CG on her for a lot
I
of the
liked
stuff.
The Cure for Blindness throwback to the first movie. That made me laugh.
Oh, and the underneath the
Wait, because in the first movie he talks about having the cure for blindness hidden underneath the sofa or whatever.
yeah, I remember.
So I thought that was a nice throwback.
Gotcha.
There was a lot of good callbacks from the first movie.
No, yeah. So I think they should do an X-Force movie, and it should be Cable Deadpool. Like they need to be a part of it. Like
Yeah, like I don't think they need to do an X-Force movie. I think they do need to do a Cable and Deadpool movie.
was the X-Force movie still on the table? Remember that was a thing.
I don't
That's
know.
what-
It could be.
That's what I heard. Ryan Reynolds said that X Force. There's no Deadpool 3. It's gonna be X Force at this point.
Fair enough.
Do you think just for marketing purposes they're gonna have to kind of do it
Also, oh my goodness.
Deadpool X-Force or
So
you know what I'm saying? Like because
right,
some people will see X-Force and be like, "Oh, it's a new franchise," versus if they see, "Oh, Deadpool X-Force or whatever." You know what I'm saying? Like from a
Yeah.
marketing standpoint, do you think they still have to throw the name in there for recognition?
maybe not.
Sam?
They probably will. I mean, if you've already established stuff and there are people that maybe they don't follow all of this as much as like we do or comic book fans, so they
Mm-hmm.
probably will have to make clarity of a thing. So
Gotcha. Um, so and I'm just glancing over this stuff. I'm not even like reading into it. Originally, the X Force movie was going to be its own thing, but now it's more than likely going to be considered a Deadpool spin-off.
which is fine.
Which is fine. Like again, that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm not opposed to it.
What were you gonna say, Brian? I think you were gonna.
I forgot at this point.
Damn it. Okay, so
I'm sure it'll come to me at some point, and I'll just throw it into something.
so I know the we'll touch on this just briefly, and then Sam, I know you gotta go. With the potential merger with Fox and Disney. Now, right now, that's in limbo because Comcast is putting in an offer. So
Comcast.
I don't like. Say what you will about Disney owning everything. I have a lot of problems with Comcast owning anything, just because. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I don't really understand why they feel the need to own it, other than to just keep it away from Disney.
Right.
Or to have their own superhero
It's gonna
empire.
suck. It's gonna be terrible.
Yeah, it'd be really bad.
But I know people were worried about Deadpool coming under the Disney brand, and I know Disney has released R-rated films under, because I did research on it when the whole thing like
Under Miramax.
Yeah, Miramax was one of them that they released some R-rated films under. But I think I even saw in interviews where even if they did take it over, they wouldn't,
PG it.
They wouldn't PG it, or if they did, they'd find a way to do it. I know people have joked about the whole like, if Deadpool appeared in the Marvel universe, maybe his whole thing is he's aware that he's in a PG-13 movie, so he has to like do things to.
I mean, they'd find a way around it, even if they had to lower the rating. The writers are smart enough to figure it out.
Yeah, I'm not super concerned with Deadpool keeping his whole identity. He's been done in other mediums before, like cartoons, and he's worked really well.
Right. Like, if people think that Deadpool has to have an R rating to be funny, then they don't get the point of the character.
Fair enough, yeah, because he doesn't need it to be funny. That's not really what is necessary. But I do think an X-Force movie would be the best way to go in the future, because it kind of hits on the points we said, where he doesn't have to carry the entire franchise himself, because we've said we don't think he can. But then we get to see more. I want to see more Domino. I want to see more Colossus now. I want to see more Negasonic and Yukio. Like, I want to see them playing a part in their own kind of corner of the world, separate from what's going on. Deadpool's one of those things where I'm glad he's tied to X-Men. I don't necessarily need him tied to all the other Marvel properties. Sure, seeing him partnered with Spider-Man, because they're the whole, they have their whole dynamic in the comics. That'd be cool. But I'm not live or die by that personally.
He could, technically, because I know Stan Lee's getting really old. Mm-hmm. He could be that cameo between everything. He could take that mantle over.
For sure.
It's true.
And I think it'd be really smart to do that too.
Yeah.
There are definitely things they could do with him. Whether or not, it really just depends on whether or not the merger goes through at this point as to what's going to happen with him.
Yeah. I'm not super. Like I said, I hope Disney gets it, because I want to see Phase 6 be whatever it is going to be, right, with X-Men. But
oh, that was what I was going to bring up, but I don't want to keep Sam too long since I know he needs to go.
Well, I'll go ahead and bow out. Y'all just keep going. So
okay.
I'll see
Sam,
y'all later.
You'll get to join us for the super awesome solo podcast we're going to do next.
Oh, God.
Yeah, we'll do it live.
Now we're not doing it live?
Right.
We'll do it live in studio.
Sure. Anyway, I'll see you later.
It's later, Sam.
Later.
So, Brian, what were you going to say?
The thing that I was wanting to bring up was, at one point, I don't remember which scene it was in, but they had the No More Mutants thing on there.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it's a direct throwback to it, but it's definitely, when I saw it, I thought of House of M, because that was the whole thing with Scarlet Witch, was resetting the reality to get rid of all mutants.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if they'd go that route, but if they did, it would be really cool.
Gotcha.
And I was like, sweet, a tie into House of M, because I really want to see House of M.
For sure. Let me check something real quick. I may end up cutting this out if I have to, but no, Mutant Academy was an X-Men fighting game that I had on the PlayStation. I remember that one. I think it's bad when I look up X-Men games and X-Men games has its own category and then Wolverine games has its own category because again, the focus on Wolverine really just like Logan. I'm glad they got to Logan at some point, but God, it took way too long.
Was it? I think it was that scene, his death scene, where they were playing the same song as they did in Logan when Wolverine was dying.
Yes.
I thought that was pretty funny. Really, just any time they were ragging on Logan, I laughed.
Yeah, but again, right? If it, and how weird is this now that I think about it? If the older X-Men movie, if the bad Logan movies didn't happen, if the whole resetting of the universe and going into First Class didn't happen, right? You don't get the jokes of the Stewart or McAvoy. You don't get the jokes of the whole shitty Deadpool in
Right.
Which is kind of interesting, and again, we talked about it a little earlier. It's kind of interesting to think
Yeah,
about.
it's interesting because I don't know that the movie would have existed had the X-Men universe not done as poorly as it did.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. It's an interesting thought process because I don't know that the studio would have ever felt the necessity to do it if they had seen success that they wanted in the franchise.
Gotcha. Well, and add to the fact that fucking Ryan Reynolds had to release test footage and get people to, start petitions and whatnot to kind of get the movie and pushed out at all.
Right.
So, I don't know.
But yeah, it is interesting. It's an interesting thought experiment.
Gotcha. Well, I was trying to find that fucking game, but oh yeah, look. So it's X-Men Legends is the first one. X-Men Legends follows Allison Crestmere, a young mutant who has the ability to summon and control volcanic activity.
Mm-hmm.
It reminded me of that. I know it's not the same power set, but whatever.
Fair enough. I don't think I actually played the first X-Men Legends. Would be why I didn't remember that.
Legends 2 is way better. So.
Right.
But I think that we'll end it there.
So yeah, I think that is pretty much everything I had to say about it.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of weird, right? Like, the movies we really like and the movies we really dislike, we have a lot to say, but the movies that are kind of just in the middle and enjoyable are kind of like, eh.
Yeah.
Here's our thoughts on it, kind of thing.
It's like, it's not a bad thing for the film. I guess it's just, I don't know, it's hard to explain.
For sure.
I guess it's really just probably just the passion behind it. There's not as much interest in it because it's just middle of the road.
For sure.
Like, I can't get mad at it for being a good film because it was a good film. I can't get mad at it for being a bad film.
Yeah, fair.
Because it wasn't horrible.
Yeah.
It's no Batman versus Superman.
I will say, I think us three are in the minority. A lot of the stuff I've seen online, people are like super, this is the best film ever and it's amazing. And again, I'm just kind of like, it was good.
Yeah, but I think that also just falls into the same camp as people that think Deadpool is the best hero.
I guess you're right.
Because for whatever reason, he has a giant fan base for being a character that's not super interesting.
Gotcha. Well, who knows? But all right, man. We'll end it here, and then we'll be back for the solo whenever we end up watching it.
Yep.
All right. Bye.
Later.